It is the 23rd of January. There are 8 days left of the transfer window. And has Million Manhoef resurfaced? We're going to talk about that in this video. Guys, what is going on with this club and this January transfer window? Now, it seemed, obviously, let's first of all touch on the one that looks like is pretty much done, and that is the signing of Mohamed Diomande. Now, a lot of you are saying, well, why isn't it done yet? What's happening with that? Why hasn't that been concluded yet? You told me yesterday that it was going to get done. You told me yesterday that it was a done deal. Well, apparently, the storm Isha, or Isha, whatever the hell it was called, that hit the UK, including that rather hilarious video online of a wheelie bin flying through the air. Oh my God, it's like, what's it? What was that play called again? Wizard of Oz. Like the Wizard of Oz. Like, seriously, wheelie bins flying in the air. Well, anyway, that storm apparently has prevented the deal from going ahead because of getting Diomande to the UK. Apparently, flight issues from Denmark to the UK. Well, he's gone from America to the UK. I think it's flying. I don't know. Wherever he's flying from, the storm has caused problems, apparently. Now, there are strong rumours. So my good friend Laura Hatton tells me that in Scotland, there is a storm warning for Wednesday. Laura said, apparently to me the other day, she said that on the news in Scotland, Storm Jocelyn, which is the next one, is heading towards Scotland, raging from amber to red. Potential now, apparently, for the Hibs game to be called off. Now, given the fact that this game and the St Johnstone game are our two games in hand, a chance to really cut the deficit to that lot from across the city, and I think a desire to really get this league season back underway. We don't really want this game called off because at the end of the day, it's going to cause another fixture pileup. You know, the more fixtures you end up moving to later in the season, it is not good. And if we progress into in the Europa League, you're certainly going to be mounting up those fixtures. Now, I know a lot of that is down to, you know, the situation with the, situation with our squad being quite thin, could be rectified in the January window, could not be rectified in the January window. Who knows what's going to happen in the January window. So anyway, just getting back to the point we were talking about before we went off at Wizard of Oz type tangents, and I don't know, perhaps I need a brain like the straw man. I think it was that needed a brain, maybe. I don't know. Oh, the scarecrow. I've just been reminded now, my daughter from the background has just reminded me it was the scarecrow that needed the brain. Yeah, so maybe I'm like a scarecrow. Maybe I need a brain. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, yeah, so maybe like a scarecrow, I need a brain. Let's get back to that. Anyway, Diomande apparently is at, the deal has been slowed down by the storm anyway. So that's it. Maybe Diomande is standing with his rosy red football boots at an airport in America now, clicking his heels together, saying there's no place like home, meaning Ibrox. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, let's move it along, guys, before we go completely off our trolleys and completely lose the plot. And I haven't even been drinking. Okay, right. So now, Million Manhoef, that was a guy we were interested in at the start of this January transfer window. And that rumour seemed to die because of the fact that Vitesse Arnhem came out and said that he was not for sale because they were worried about relegation. They were worried about, losing their most creative, their most skillful player. Now, Manhoef, who is a Dutch youth international, has played 10 times for his country at under 21 level, scoring 3 goals in those 10 appearances. And certainly, Manhoef is a kind of, very PSV-esque, Koppen-esque signing, wouldn't he, if it actually came off? He's a Dutch player. He's born in a place called Bemista. I can't pronounce it, in the Netherlands. He is of Surinamese and Indonesian descent, but he's obviously Dutch. Obviously part of the Dutch East Indies, as they were. His dad was a Dutch mixed martial artist called Melvin Manhoef. But obviously Million, that is his name. Million, what a name, guys. What a name. I mean, you've got, let's face it, if your name's Million, you've got to be something. You've got to achieve something, haven't you, if your name's Million? Geez, I mean, come on. Anyway, so this link seems to be resurfacing again. Now, why does it seem to be resurfacing again? Well, it's all down to the fact that Vitesse Arnhem have taken a player from Brighton on loan. That loan is obviously being managed by former Rangers player Davy Weir. Maybe we've got Davy Weir to thank for this link coming back up again. Now, the player who's joined Vitesse Arnhem is a Romanian guy called Adrian Mazilou. He is a right winger. He's 18 years old, very promising, very up and coming. And again, part of Brighton's trading model, something that obviously we are trying to emanate. Yes, that's right. Trying to recreate, even that's better, at Rangers. Now, if Mazilou is joining, it does seem like this kind of creates a space. Now, given the fact that Manhoef can play right wing, he can play left wing, and Mazilou is going there on loan to get first team experience, could this be opening a door for Manhoef to leave? Could this be opening a door for them to cash in on Million Manhoef? Now, this obviously goes against what has been said at the start of the window by their sporting director and by their manager. The intention was very much to keep hold of him at least until the end of the season. Now, the concern about that is, of course, that he is out of contract in 2025. The longer you hang on to a player, at the end of the day, that gives him 12 months left to go on the end of his deal at the end of this season. It depreciates the player's value. Now, his current market value is around €3.5 million. It's about £3 million, 2.75 to £3 million, given the variance in exchange rates. Now, Manhoef is someone who is a very, very promising young attacker. He's quick, he's skillful, he's very good at going forward, good at crossing the ball, can see a pass, can take a shot, can assist, can score goals. He's certainly someone who is very highly thought of in the Dutch game and would seem to very much fit not only the Niels Koppen style player, given the fact that Koppen is someone who, when he was at PSV, brought in the likes of Sabari and Bakayoko and Noah Lang, for example, but also would fit the trading model, given the fact that he's only a young lad, again, someone who you hang on to for a couple of seasons and then you flip for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 20 million pounds in the future. You never know what you can fleece out of these English clubs. Now, you look at this guy here, he is a all-round talent. He can play right wing, he can play left wing. He's primarily a right winger, even though he is left-footed. He likes to invert, he likes to come in on that left foot, take shots, thread little balls through, but he can play left wing. He can also play as a left back as well and as a left wing back. So he brings a good variance of position to the squad. Now, in terms of his past history, he's made 87 appearances for Vitesse Arnhem, scoring 16 goals and having 14 assists. So that is about 30 goal involvements in 87 games. Not bad at all, better than 1 in 3. Under 17s, he played 28 times, 5 goals, 3 assists. Under 19s, 19 times with 3 goals. And with the under 21s, he played 12 times before. I think, his time in the under 21s was very much limited by the fact that he was moved straight up into the first team. This season in the Eredivisie, he's made 17 appearances for a very poor Vitesse Arnhem team, a team that is really struggling this season, and has scored 4 goals and has also been sent off once. He's played in 89% of their starting 11s, 85% of their minutes, and had a 31% goal contribution. So has contributed just under a third of their goals. Really showing, I suppose, what a poor team they are this year. But he is a very talented player and someone who's exceptionally highly rated in Holland and on the continent. No doubt that if this link is, and again, look, I get it's speculation. I get it's rumor. It's this, look, I'm just trying to report what is out there. Accuse me of clickbait, accuse me of what you want. But at the end of the day, this is something that has been discussed at the moment, has been something that has resurfaced and is a possible link for Rangers. Personally, this is the sort of player we need. He is a good winger, a quality winger. We do need a winger. I mean, let's face it. Ross McCausland, excellent, doing really, really well. Just moved into the first team, needs more time to develop. I think needs to be spelled at times, needs to be rested at times. Obviously, Abdallah Sima, we don't know how long this lad's going to be out for. Could be 3 weeks, could be 6 weeks, could be 8 weeks, could be 10 weeks. We don't know with the nature of his injury. Babi Matondo, someone who it's been so hot and cold. Start of the season was great, was fantastic at the start of the season. But since that injury has come back and has really failed to hit the heights, his end product has been very poor at times. Yes, he scores the goals against Copenhagen, but then at other times fails to provide the cross, fails to provide the ammunition for the strikers. Now, and I know we're lacking in strikers before anyone points that one out. But this is where we're up to, we do need a winger. We do need to start signing wingers. We've never really replaced Ryan Kent. This lad is certainly someone who can do that. He's a very talented footballer and certainly someone who I think could bring something to this team. You know, the fact that he can play in multiple positions, the fact that he can, you know, work as an inverted winger or work as an out-and-out winger, he gives you options there. You know, and we aren't overly blessed there. Scott Wright, again, someone who we tried to move on twice in the summer. There's not a lot of options out there. And it is all about, I think, spreading the goals around. You know, at the end of the day, you cannot solely rely on your number 9 to score all your goals. You need people to come in and to contribute from other areas. And I really believe that Manhoef could be someone who does that. Now, obviously, we don't know if there's a concrete link, but it has not been denied by the club. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, one thing you can kind of look back through at this window is the fact that when links have been made that have been spurious links or false links, the club have been very quick, like the Batshuayi link, to come out and say, no, there's no truth in it, we're not interested. They've never denied an interest in Manhoef. I think there is a genuine interest in there. You know, Koppen seen him play in Holland. He is a very Koppen-type signing, a young, up-and-coming, wide player like a Johan Bakayoko, someone like that to come into this squad and make a difference. And I believe, you know, with someone like him, with Diamande, signing of a striker, this is moving the squad forward towards that 56 winning squad that we're all dreaming of getting. So for me, this would be a very good signing if it is true and if we can get it over the line. Okay, so what else is going on? Other news, it was announced yesterday that there will be no winter break next season for the Scottish Premier League. You know, I welcome this news. I think at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do. Look, I mean, it's not all about the weather. I know the weather is part of it, but you know, it's not all about the weather. The weather's pretty poor all the time. We just got to look at it at the moment, how bad the weather is at this moment in time. But look, you know, the reason why a lot of these winter breaks are brought in is to try and reduce stress and strain on players. But you know, there's no championships in the summer next year, in 2025. Also, the fact that, you know, teams tend to go away and play games anyway. So what's the point of having a rest when they're going away to training camps? They're going away and playing games anyway. You know, Rangers went away and played 2 games through this winter break, you know, 2 games that could have easily been games that were actually worth playing. So I think the right decision getting rid of the winter break. And let's face it, we all hate the winter break anyway. It's a time when there's, you know, when there's no real football. We want football. You know, you look down south, they're still playing. You look across Europe, they're still playing. Look, at the end of the day, good decision. End of the winter break. Gotta be. You know, look, what else is going on around there? Worrying rumours that Celtic are apparently sniffing round Lawrence Shankland, as was rumoured in a number of publications over these last couple of days. I certainly hope there's no truth in that, because if it comes down to a bidding war, which when you get the 2 old firm clubs involved, you could try and do, which is something I wouldn't put past Hearts. Unfortunately, we don't have the financial resources at the present time to compete with that lot from across the city. I'm going to put the same caveat as I said on yesterday's video, guys. Look, no one from the club has officially come out and said we want Shankland. A lot of the rumours around Lawrence Shankland are coming from fans, are coming from fan media, are coming from media that's not closely linked to the club. If you look at the partners of the club on the part, I suppose the fan media and the media that are more closely linked to the club, there doesn't seem to be a great deal coming out of them about a desire for us to sign Lawrence Shankland. So I think we've got to kind of temper our expectations on this, that if at the end of the day the striker we sign is not Lawrence, if we do sign a striker, and I certainly hope we do need to. If we sign someone and it's not Shankland, we've got to obviously deal with that and welcome this guy, whoever it is, and give him a fair opportunity. Just because he's not Lawrence Shankland is not the reason to write him off. Now, Wednesday night, we play Hibernian, hopefully, weather permitting, at Easter Road. Now, as the Scottish Premier League table sits at this moment in time, Hibernian sit in 6th position, some 11 points even behind their Edinburgh friends, near friends, rivals, I don't know what they are, Hearts in 3rd position. And a further 21 points behind Rangers. This season, they've played 20 times, same as us. They've won 6, drawn 7, lost 7, have changed their manager. Their form in the last few games is not good. You know, yes, it will be a tough game because of the fact that we are going to, play at their place. They are going to raise their game, as all teams do against us. We are everyone's cup final. We know that. Everyone hates us. We don't care. You look at where we sit at this moment in time, 20 games played, 15 wins, 1 draw, rather crazy that is, 4 defeats, 46 points, some 8 points behind that lot from across the city. Obviously, 2 games in hand. If we win those 2 games in hand, we can bring that down to 2 points with all firm games still to come. So the league is certainly not over by any stretch of the imagination. Now, you look at Hibernian's form over the last few games and their results over the last few games, and it's hardly stellar. They're hardly a team that is in prime form. Now, if you go, let's have a quick look at this. If we go to the table, we look at the table first. Their last 5 games, they've only won 1 of their last 5 games. 3 defeats in there, 1 draw. So that their form coming into this game, and I know we've had the winter break, is not great at all. Pre-winter break, you look at, obviously, since they've come back, they did beat Forfar 1-0 in the cup, which is hardly an impressive result. They lost 5-1 to Servette in a friendly game. Servette, remember, the team that we dispatched in the UEFA Champions League qualifiers. Before the winter break, they drew 2-2 with Motherwell at home. They lost at home to their Edinburgh rivals to a brilliant Lawrence Shankland goal. They lost away at a very poor St Johnstone team, 1-0. They scraped past Livingston, 1-0 at Livy. They lost 4-1 at Celtic Park. They beat Aberdeen 2-0, but as we know, that's not a great achievement this season. They won 2-1 away at Dundee. They won 1-0 at home to Kilmarnock, drew 2-2 with St Mirren, and lost at home to Aberdeen in the semi-final of the Scottish League Cup. Now, look, we know that this is a very mixed form. And like I said, if you take their last 5 games, a loss to Celtic, a scrape win against Livy, a defeat to St Johnstone, a defeat at home against Hearts, their city rivals, a draw against Motherwell at home, and then an absolute gubbing in that mid-season friendly against Servette. These guys are hardly in the peak of their form. This is a game where we need to go out there and prove that we are still in contention for 56, that we cannot afford between now and the end of the season to drop any more points. This is just not realistic. It is a game we've got to win. Yes, they will raise their game, but there should be more than enough talent on that pitch, no matter which 11 Philippe Clement picks, even without new signings, to go and beat Hibs. They are not a great team. We owe them as well for that insult about the Ibrox disaster that they did earlier in the season at Ibrox. Look, this is a situation where we need to win. We cannot afford any more drop points between now and the end of the season. Obviously, we'll look at this game in a bit more depth on the Matchday News tomorrow. Well, guys, look, this is where we're up to at the moment. It is 23rd of January. We still obviously have only made that 1 signing. Technically, I suppose we could say 1.5 signings, as it looks like Diamande is pretty much done, weather permitting. That's weird, isn't it, to say that about a signing, weather permitting. We've really got to hope in these last 8 days that there is really a drive by the board, by Niels Koppen, by Philippe Clement to bring some more names into the frame. We've heard He's Smile been possibly mentioned as a pre-contract for next season. He's obviously turned down a new contract at Twente. They offered him a new improved deal. He turned it down. Seems he wants to move away. Very talented left back. Again, Rangers still heavily linked with him. Again, no denial from the club. And like I said, they have been very quick to deny when certain links have been made that they have no interest in. One player who will not be joining Rangers, thank God, is Emmanuel Dennis. Someone that I spoke, not too well about. Had 1 good season at Watford. Lazy, a bit of an attitude issue. Not a great record at all. 1 goal every 4.8 games, I think it was, from out wide. Seamate is 1 goal every 2.7 games from out wide. So again, not a great signing. Apparently, he will be returning to Watford. I think that is allegedly, and again, I use the term allegedly because it was never actually brought by the club, a bullet we have well and truly dodged there. Well, let me know what you think of the stories down below in the comments. And as always, guys, if you can smash the sub, that would be phenomenal to help this channel keep growing as we move this towards our 5K target by March the 6th. Guys, we are on the march, and 147 short at time of recording. And as always, on the way out, there are two things I ask of you. Number one, smash the like. It helps the video to grow, guys, algorithms and all. And the second thing is never forget, always remember, we are the people.